Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. Thank you all for tuning in to the premiere of the Shut Me Down music video and checking out the live stream. Looks like, okay, successfully getting people over from the premiere. Wouldn't it be great if, the premiere feature and the live stream feature were connected? But no, y'all have to join me over here. So I hope you're filing in, and thank you so much for being there at the premiere. If you just saw it, that music video has been my passion and an intense project for a long time, and I'm so glad that it is now out in the wild, and it's a glorious moment. So thank you for being here. Um, I'm cramming so much into today. Today is my birthday for one thing. It is also a music video premiere, and now it's a live stream where I thought I would talk a little bit about that video because I put all this energy into it, and um, I get really inspired by knowing more about what happens behind the scenes and things like that. I'm very inspired by films, filmmaking, and I am by no means a filmmaker, but this video was kind of my foray into like, oh, like it'd be fun to make a film, but that would be way too ambitious. At least the kind of films I love the most. But I could totally make a music video. Let me do something in the music video format that pays homage to the stuff I like about film. So I do want to keep this conversational and answer your questions and respond to your remarks. In the background here, I'm going to open up Final Cut Pro and also project folder so I can show you, as I said, some of the behind the scenes stuff. Hope y'all can hear me. Is the live stream working okay? Let me get a little feedback on that. Let me read the chat for a second. Shut that other window down. Yeah, okay. Okay, you're here. Yes. Yes. Terrific video. Thank you, Tim Thompson. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Happy birthday. Thanks, Alexandra. When will the video be posted somewhere we can watch it multiple times? It should be watchable from that same watch page if you want to go back and watch it again. So especially for joining us a little bit late, yeah, the same page where the premiere was should be where you can watch it again. And if for some reason that's not working, you can just go to my YouTube channel. So I'll post the YouTube Moldova YouTube channel link right here. So it should be the first video on that page. If not, let me know. I'll go dig it up. This is all kind of like new territory for me. I've done a bunch of live streams in the last few weeks, but actually they've all been through a different platform. So we're on YouTube for the first time. So exciting. So good. Thank you. Alexander has excellent comments. It is true. Legit. Amazing. Hearts. Winky face. Oh, there's people winking at people. I think there's a few friends in the house. Well, I know there's a few friends in the house. Thank you, friends, for being here. Legit mega rad. Thanks, TK. Happy birthday. Thank you, Alfred Ladylike. Welcome, Will. Stufflebeam. Appreciate the birthday wishes. High fives to John. I am a filmmaker now. Thanks, Siona. Cool. Everybody can hear me. Thank you for that feedback. Trying to work out the Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is a thing. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. YouTube made something good for a change. Yeah, the premiere feature? Or are you talking about this live stream? Or me? I don't know. There's Liza Viatoshi. What does the Soaks performer represent to you in the video? That's a great question. I can answer that by jumping into telling you about it. So, yeah, what was the hardest part? Jeez, it might be the rain. Okay, so we'll get some questions in a little bit, but let me start by like just showing you some of the cool stuff. I'm rocking OBS here, so I can do screen share. Let me get my project folder open. I thought it'd be fun to show you how this started because it actually started with like, oh, let me keep this simple. I want to make something kind of filmic, but I also want to keep it simple. If you saw the music video I did before this, which came out 4 years ago, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, it was a music video for Not Your Mirror, directed and edited by Danielle Garcia with amazing production work from Liza Bender, who's joining us here. And that video was just like a lot of work, and it didn't meet some of my goals. It's definitely not. I wouldn't call it like a film. It doesn't have like a narrative. So that's the kind of thing I wanted to do. Okay, got my project folder open. Thing I'm going to start by showing you is where is my treatment? So I wrote up a little treatment. I don't know. I haven't studied anything like reading writing screenplays or anything. Okay, I got 2 project folders. Yeah, I tend not to keep things simple once I actually dig into them. So what I really wanted to dig at was these notes. So this is like the treatment, and I'm going to screen share this with you guys. We'll do desktop share. Yeah, you're probably going to see more than you really need to here, but it is the easiest way to do it. And I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. This is going to get super distracting with all these windows. I appreciate your patience with my, my live stream abilities or non-abilities. So we'll get the chat going over on the left, get this on the right, and now I can see what's going on. Yeah, it looks like a lively chat. Lots of good questions. Yeah, the Premiere feature is good. I'm happy with that. So yeah, here's the treatment. I don't expect you to read it, but it was initially just 2 pages, and it's basically a link to the song. This was also the thing that I fed to like potential videographers, cinematographers, because I knew I wanted to direct it and kind of like make the creative decisions, and I knew I wanted to edit it because I wound up kind of like almost editing the previous video, and I felt like like I know how to do all this. I know how to do basic video editing. I could get a little more advanced and edit something like a music video. But I needed a cinematographer because I knew I wanted to have a bunch of footage of me performing in the video, and of course I'm not going to shoot that myself. So anyways, I wrote down some of the feelings of the song: hopelessness, despair, grief, meaningless, ultimately leading to surrender, catharsis, and redemption, which you don't actually hear in the song. I'll say a few words about the song real quick. It's about this like really dark kind of period in my life where yeah, I was just filled with things like hopelessness and despair. And one of my favorite things to do, though, is take dark emotions like that and, when possible, transmute them into creative output, things like the song in this video. So, and this song is unique. It appears on the album 4-Track that came out a few years ago. And it's unique on that album in that most of the songwriting on that album like has kind of a progression. Like somewhere later in the sequence of verses and there's a bridge that happens, like there's like kind of an alternate idea, and so there's a story actually told by the song. But in this song, "Shut Me Down," there really isn't a story. It's just like, stuff sucks in the first verse, and the second verse is like stuff sucks for all of us, and then the bridge is kind of like, yeah, stuff really sucks in a kind of abstract and interesting way. And then the chorus obviously is just shut me down, shut me down, shut me down, shut me out. So it's kind of this hopelessness. So the music video actually became an opportunity to kind of like flip that and tell the story of catharsis that the song actually is. So for me, the video was like there was things clicked into place when I realized like, if I do some catharsis in the story that appears in the video, that'll kind of flip the script. So, anyways, just to finish up this this little treatment. I thought of some imagery, like things I wanted to see in the video: wood and metal, dirt and stone, technological, architectural decay, mechanical motion, fire. I was thinking about how I wanted the thing to look: natural light, washed out and desaturated, kind of like imagery stuff that would bring about the emotions I mentioned earlier. Some color palette ideas. A lot of the inspiration for this, I'll show you some other really interesting stuff. So besides that treatment, I put together what some people call a mood board, which is like a bunch of images. Can somebody throw the link up for the video, or maybe the old video for Noah? That'd be awesome. Yeah, so these are the mood board things. Oh wait, this is after we did some shooting. Mood board, imagery for mood board. So this is the original mood board stuff. So these are like just some photos I found on Google Image Search. I think there might be some shots from film in here. There's rain sounds like in the actual recording of the song, so I thought it'd be cool to have rain in there. This is some of that like decay, like old kind of stuff. Just thinking about deserts, like this idea of like taking a man, an effigy, actually an effigy of myself out to the desert and burning it. Some recent actual film inspirations were Mad Max Fury Road, this like very decayed, dark future with these beautiful cinematic images. I mean, it's a movie, which is kind of what cinematic means, but yeah, beautiful imagery in that film. And also Blade Runner 2049 had recently come out, so I was watching that. So anyways, that's some of the kind of imagery I was looking at initially, and I was also looking for ways that I wanted to like I could like quickly put this thing together. you know, without it being like really, really complicated. Like in the in the Not Your Mirror video, I actually, you know, we built the whole set. We found an empty room, and the concept was to make it look like a giant circuit board. And taking an empty room and doing that turned out to be like a ton of work. And I didn't want to do that much like kind of pre-production and construction of stuff. I was like, you know, what are the opportunities and things around me that I could just use that I already have? Um, so yeah, that's where the idea of using the artwork of Anastasia Salvage. She's the aerialist you saw in the video. I think there was a question about that earlier. She's a San Francisco artist. She actually lived in the space where we shot the video for Not Your Mirror, and that's, I think, how I got to know her better. And she did some performances at concerts I did, and so we were doing this kind of like, you know, what does it look like to have an aerialist perform at a Moldover concert? And yeah, and you know, Shut Me Down is it's about loss, like specifically. I mean, that was the cause of, you know, the darkness in my life at that time. And romantic loss was part of it, but it was also the loss of somebody much closer to me. So I knew I wanted something in the video to kind of represent the object of loss, you know, like, and I didn't want it to be like kind of a love story in kind of a direct way, and that's why in the narrative there's really just Moldover. You just see me doing all this stuff, and the dancer, the aerialist, is just kind of cut in there as kind of both to create this kind of motion, this vibe that I really like, and also to objectify, not objectify, but you know, become the object of loss, at least kind of conceptually in the video. So let me just glance at that treatment one more time. So there was a plot summary. I'll read you the plot summary because it's just a paragraph and a half. On a rainy evening, Moldover's at home, furiously writing in a notebook with mounting frustration. Overwhelmed with anger, he throws his notes to the ground. Moments later, he is struck by inspiration and begins a new plan of action. He grabs a black marker and begins writing single words on each page, tearing them out and casting them aside. He goes to his workshop and gets a sheet of plywood, tracing the outline of his body onto it. He cuts out the outline of his image and combines it with scrap wood braces to make a life-sized effigy of himself. He nails the notebook pages to its surface, completely covering it with the words of his despair. He takes the effigy to his vehicle and drives deep into the desert, where he unceremoniously burns it. All these scenes are intercut with Moldover performing the song in these and related locations, shots of a dancer who represents the object of loss, and more abstract imagery that supports the theme of the piece. Yeah, so that's about it. I talked a little bit more in here in this document about like costume, what I would wear, what kind of props, you know, like the instruments I'd be playing with, and you know, the notebook and the pencil and the pens and nails and plywood and all that kind of stuff, getting into like the production stuff. Yeah, but that was basically like the seeds of what I did. I'm gonna keep this conversational now that you've got like some of the basic elements of what the video was, and I can sum up the rest of it in that I was doing some gigs in Las Vegas, and I re-met Michael Price, who I'd met years before at Burning Man. He's part of a camp that I performed with there. That was previously like a Portland-based camp, and then a bunch of them moved to Las Vegas, where Michael Price moved. And so I had this gig in Vegas, and Michael came to the show, and I was talking to him afterwards, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm doing more video stuff these days." And I was like, "Oh, I really like to shoot a music video. Like I did some scratch footage. I actually shot the footage of Anastasia and Carl Pizzaturo, who did those kinetic artworks that look kind of abstract in the video, but those spinning things that almost look like animated or 3D graphics. Like those are Carl's work. He was formerly a San Francisco local artist for a long time, and just a couple years ago he moved to Rhode Island, I believe. And yeah, so I shot Carl's art, I shot Anastasia, and then I linked up with Michael in Las Vegas and went to Las Vegas for 2.5 days to shoot all the stuff in the desert. And yeah, that worked out well. And the rest of the stuff, like the indoor stuff, where I'm writing the notebook and whatnot, and the performance imagery around in the rain, we actually shot at my home here in San Francisco. And then all the post-production and all the editing and stuff I did here at home. So yeah, what was the hardest part? Great question. The hardest part was definitely editing. Turner has an answer for John. Turner Kirk's thirsty. I think you guys are not actually. I don't know what's going on. Blame it on the rain. Let's get into it. Is this entertaining? What do you guys think? I know you like the video, but how's the stream? Is this entertaining and informative? I can start showing you some of the Final Cut Pro stuff. I think that'll be interesting. Yeah, love the process. Great way to communicate with the DP. What's DP? That's something photographer, director of photography. Oh, cool. All right, good. Sounds like since Sienna actually has filmmaking experience, encouraging me that I'm doing something well. Personify, manifest. That actually happened. Also true. I think Turner and John have some kind of thing going on. Hey, Belle. Oh, thanks for tuning in from Tokyo. Wow, you might win the long distance award there. Where was I? So yeah, you know the like overall process. Yeah, and I have to say the biggest challenge was definitely editing. One thing that was difficult is I wasn't able to like, I mean, the distance between Las Vegas. Originally, like I'd hoped to shoot everything I wanted in Las Vegas, and so this was like the first major challenge of the process. Was that got to Las Vegas, and it turned out Michael had double booked himself, sort of, and he had a bunch of other responsibilities the same weekend we were supposed to do the shoot. So he was like juggling those things, and we didn't get as much shooting time as I'd hoped, and there were some difficult things like getting the pyro to work. You know, just burning a plywood man you'd think is straightforward, but you know when you have 70-mile-an-hour winds, when you didn't bring like the ideal kind of fuel, when you didn't design your effigy to burn well, you know, like a sheet of, you know, I don't know, I think it was 3/8 inch plywood. Doesn't really burn that well unless you put a lot of fuel on it. So anyways, we had challenges like that, and we just didn't have as much time to do shooting as we wanted. And then also like I didn't get any like good, like the space where Michael was awesome for those outdoor shots, and the garage stuff kind of worked, and the road shots and stuff. But as far as like interior stuff, the kind of bedroom space where I was going to be writing was difficult, and we didn't have any way to generate rain, and I really wanted rain. So all that stuff happened in a separate shoot in San Francisco with another cinematographer who goes by VTrans, who's awesome and did a great job. But the difficulty of working with multiple cinematographers came back to like they shot with very different cameras, very different styles, many different frame rates. Like I wanted to do a bunch of slow-mo stuff, so I wound up with video footage shot both at like 1080p, kind of like your old school HD resolution, but also 4K, and at frame rates from 24 to 60 to 120. So like all these different frame rates, all these different frame sizes. There's different ways to shoot. There's this whole shooting flat thing that was new to me, which is I won't get into the details of all that, but like basically I had like 10 different kinds of footage to deal with, and it made the editing really challenging. And I wasn't able to get all the shooting done at once. It was like 2 different shoots, months apart with different photographers, and it wasn't planned that way. So that made it really difficult. Catch up on the chat here. It's funny, it auto scrolls sometimes. It's your birthday too? Oh my goodness! Happy birthday, Belle. That's amazing. You're thirsty? Yeah, I'm thirsty too. I'm only like halfway through my dinner. Did my guitar get ruined in the rain? Oh, good question. Well, you'll notice if you watch it again, I'm not playing the fabulous Robocaster in those rain shots. I got a $75 Stratocaster copy that looks kind of like the Robocaster. I sawed off the logo so you wouldn't see whatever generic brand of guitar it was. And that's the guitar I played in the rain. And I still have it. Actually, I really wanted to like burn the guitar and put some of that footage in the video, but that didn't come together. Guitar burning is actually like kind of dangerous, and California was not a good time, not a good place to burn things. If you recall all the wildfires that were happening a few years ago. So that part never happened, but it might have been kind of cheesy. Burning guitar and Burning Man in a burner's video altogether might be like overkill on the burning. Okay, details. What's shooting flat, and why do I have to use it? Shooting flat is just kind of like recording audio, at 24 or 32-bit. It's like basically like making sure you have much more headroom, you could say, in audio. I'll probably relate it to audio, and I know many of you are audio people. It's like shooting with more headroom, but with like color and brightness. So it's kind of like contracting the color and brightness. So nothing is very high contrast. Everything is kind of dull as far as brightness, and the same with color. Like nothing is very saturated. And the good thing about that is like cameras are so high resolution, they have so many colors they can represent. The way that they shoot now, digital cameras, that you can like create that saturation and create that contrast later. And by not shooting with it, you don't risk like overexposing or underexposing a shot, and you just can't recover if you don't capture that in camera. So that's what shooting flat is. And we did. I didn't want to do that because I was like, I don't know what that is. I don't want to deal with that in editing. It sounds like more work. But VTrans insisted, and that's cool. I learned more on the post-production end, which I can start showing you. Smokey, wow, DJ Smokey. It's been a while. My New York peeps are coming in here. Zaltron, thank you. Jigsaw. Oh yeah, right. The Jigsaw. Thank you. I get down with the Jigsaw sometimes. It's like I ended up editing a documentary. Yeah, a little bit. There was a lot of like, yeah, using stuff I didn't think I'd use. Like shooting raw in photography. There you go. Good, better analogy. I'm so glad Sienna's here to actually like bring more intelligence to my film conversation. This is not American flag, by the way. This is my mask. It's just stars. Not that I'm anti-American flag, but I keep seeing this and being like, what am I, some kind of like insta-patriot? Oh, Colin's there. We got more video experts. Excellent. All right, so maybe I'll get into more of the details. I'll just say one more thing about the inspiration for the thing, is it kind of just hit me in a flash. It's like I knew I wanted to do something about catharsis, and I kind of wanted to make a conventional music video, in that it would have a bunch of performance stuff of me. I think what people want to see from their artists in music videos is either something really, really cool and amazing. Like some of my favorite music videos are like, those old Michael Jackson videos that were 20 minutes long and really were short films. But also like really cool, artful things like animated videos where they just went so far and doing amazing imagery and like things you could never represent on film. Like those to me are like the highest level of music video, but kind of in the middle and where most people can get gratification. I think both as an artist and as for audiences, is to see something of what it looks like to see this artist perform, and then to see something of like what they do if they were telling a story related to this song, with pictures, moving pictures. So that's kind of where I went, and the idea of the catharsis really felt good because the writing of that song and the writing of the album 4-track were a huge catharsis for me, and I thought that would bring this kind of resolution, as I said earlier, to the song that didn't exist in the song by creating it in the video. Yeah, so checking in the chat. Rainbow Medicine, Charlie Chaplin aesthetic. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, music video production. Play it again, Colin. If you want to see it again, you can watch it right now. I don't think we should all sit through it again. But if somebody could throw up the link for Colin to go back and watch it, you can just watch it in the background without sound. I know you've heard the song. Play it and do a director's voiceover. Oh, we could do that. That might be fun. That might be cooler than me futzing around in Final Cut Pro. We could do that too. We're gonna have to wrap up in about like 15 or 20 minutes because I'm doing another event and I don't want this to go too long, honestly. But yeah, let's do that. So we'll do another desktop share. Let me get ready here. And this will be the proof of was I correct about it actually. Showing up where the Premiere used to be. Yes. Okay. So the only trick is I don't know if you guys will hear sound, but maybe it's better that way. No, I'll play it through my speakers at low volume. I think that'll work. So you're gonna hear really kind of like lousy sound. Sorry about that. Just make sure sound is functioning here. Okay, yeah. So let me know if you can't hear me for some reason. I'm going to do the desktop share, and we'll do, oh, you know what, let's do, oh yeah, you're still seeing me. I set this up well. Hey, thank you, Moldover of the past. Made it easier to do this. Okay, so here's the video more or less. You're still seeing me, so I think, what if I go full screen? I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I'll blow it up to full screen. We'll go non-full screen, so apologies for slightly smaller image size. Okay, so voiceover. I've never done this before. This is me doing the director's cut. Title with my custom font. I don't know about titles, but I went for it. I like opening with this like abstract imagery. This is a keyboard solo by my friend Stefan Schmidt, who lives in Berlin, amazing instrument creator. So these are all beautiful, just kind of abstract shots to set the vibe and the scene. Actually started editing the video from the beginning, which in retrospect I don't think I should have done. I probably would have made the beginning a bit more exciting if I had done it again, but no regrets. This is an interesting thing, is the dancer is right there. I'll play that scene for you again, because most people don't see it, but I don't know. I wanted to put the dancer, the aerialist, like in the smoke there to just kind of foreshadow what you're going to see later. So yeah, I'll try not to rewind again. So there I am writing. There's a fun thing where like there's kind of two moldovers in this. You know, there's the performing moldover and the moldover in the narrative. So performing moldover, of course, has the leather jacket and is out in the rain. Interesting story. I built a rain machine for this, hoisted up on top of a building. It was made with like sprinklers and PVC pipe. Yeah, it actually worked out really well. The rain machine was one of the successes of like, oh yeah, that looks like real rain, and you can control the flow and everything. You'll see a ring around my neck. That's the one connection between the two moldovers, the narrative moldover and the performing moldover. And that's the ring of actually belonged to the person I lost. And there I am. I got all my instruments in there, so that's not the Robocaster, but you'll see it later. That's the MC1 microphone controller, unreleased. Yeah, we made it through the first chorus. Boom! I just moved from San Francisco to Las Vegas. This is the Las Vegas garage. These were some super dark shots. These are some of the like, I want to show you what I did in post-production to make this work. That's my famous jigsaw work. Slow motion, some 120 frames per second action there. It's the only shot where narrative moldover stares at the camera that you just saw. This Jeep was great. This is Michael's Jeep. It was the perfect, like, oh yeah, like I'm in the desert and, you know, I'm working with tools and burning stuff and I have a Jeep. I don't actually have a Jeep. I won't tell you what I drive. Maybe I will later if you ask me. These are some of the great desert shots. So that's a location northwest of Las Vegas that Michael had done some shooting at before. Really beautiful. Those dunes are unlike anything else around Las Vegas. And you're seeing more of Carl Pizzaturo's kinetic artworks cut into these choruses. Here I went super saturated. All the desert stuff is like desaturated, and now it's like I did a bunch of careful color work to get these lush sunsets. And yeah, the face washing. This was an interesting like intercutting the face washing with like the desert walking. There's a lot of like interesting creative choices in the music video because it's like narrative directed a lot of this, but there's still, you know, all this abstract stuff. So it's interesting what you choose to intercut. Yeah, these hammer shots. Those are like my favorite shots that Michael did. Is naturally got like firelight and blue moonlight, that blue and orange, quote unquote, cinematic look, and I didn't even have to do any tweaks to those shots. Yeah. And now we're in the outro. These are also some challenging shots. Like, we didn't have lights in the desert. We literally had to use the Jeep's headlights and firelight. Those are our only two lighting sources. So that was a big challenge. Like, those are actually firelit shots, those like blue ones. So there's a lot of heavy color work there. These shots came out really well, but like I said, like cutting this together to make it look like, you know, this effigy was fully burned and getting those performance shots, it was a lot to do. And these were also some of the most challenging creative choices, is what shots to put at the end. disappears. That's like one. That's the only. That's that and the aerialist spinning above the candle. Those are like the only two I'd call like special effects shots. That was another thing is I really wanted to take like a really naturalistic approach to you know, the look and the feel of the thing. I didn't want to, you know, there's so many things you can do even with like basic video editing software to do, you know, special effects, transitions, do wipes, all kinds of stuff. But I didn't really go deep into that. So where are we at in the chat? You guys are chatting it up. I like that. I like that. Okay. Oh no, you only saw the top left quarter of my screen. Oh, shucks. Sorry. I think I cropped my desktop poorly. Oh, sorry about the bad cropping. Well, I'll have to go back and like edit that if I ever use this video. Well, sorry about that. I hope you could see some of what was going on. I can throw it up in Final Cut now, and then we can actually surf around and, you know, stop and talk about a few things and play it from there too. So I have to say that the machine I'm using to do video editing is a little underpowered for this 4K, many tracks of video going on, but it works. Okay, let me get this desktop share right this time. I'm gonna make this window as small as possible, and we're gonna resize. So you can see some, but not all of my editing window. Okay, I'm gonna do a little edit here. Please talk amongst yourselves. Get some questions going if you have questions. Maybe you can like highlight your questions with extra question marks. Okay, so with the desktop share, we're doing laptop display, Cropman. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh wait. Oh, here we go. Defaults. Yeah. All right. Let's try this one more time. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. Problem fixed. Oh yeah. I hope I didn't lose anybody with that snafu and all this video feedback. Whoa! Alright, now you should be able to see my whole screen, and I'll keep the chat live over here. Oh man, I'm a little embarrassed about my live stream game. It's like I was getting heavy and pro with it, and then at a certain point I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to be all pro and high production value in this medium. Toshi had a good question. Do I think the shut me down theme has, sorry, that's actually Liza. The shut me down theme has a new meaning with COVID shutdown. Yeah, that's true. That's one of the reasons I chose to premiere this video now. Is not just because, you know, I got it done and I'm psyched to have it out there, but also because, yeah, we're dealing with some pretty heavy shutdowns and in a global sense, in many senses. So I thought that was appropriate. Moldova of Arabia, the silhouette shot, hammers. Wow, Rich, I like your analysis. I think you should write the review. Social distancing. Yeah, there's a lot of social distancing in the video. Okay, so I just wanted to show off some of the cool editing stuff I did because, I don't know, I'm not like a super advanced video editor. You know, I do it to make these videos and some other videos, but I got pretty deep on some things that I hadn't done before, and that excites me. So one thing I did, I'll just show you really quickly, is I kind of, after I got into it a little bit, I realized like, oh, I got to cut the narrative as its own thing. So I took all the narrative shots, the things that, you know, tell some kind of story, and I put those together into like kind of a separate timeline, and I started cutting that together with, you know, with the song a little bit at the beginning just to see how that would look. But then just throwing it all in sequence, picking the best shots that I had for each kind of shot. And here you can see the original footage. This is what it looks like to shoot flat. I'll do a comparison back in that other timeline, but you can see it's all kind of like washed out and desaturated. So you have to color correct that stuff, and you'll see like the stuff with Michael was not shot flat, and similarly required a lot of color correction just because of this stuff he did kind of shoot flat. But color correction with Michael's footage was more about, here's those beautiful desert shots, and you can see how I added sunset basically. But it gets darker and darker, and the shots get darker and darker. But anyways, I just wanted to show you how I did the narrative. DIY casual live streaming, that's what's up. Our Toshi is really Toshi now. Welcome, Toshi. Yeah, so we're back in the main timeline here. Just learning to edit with Final Cut Pro was like kind of a trip because they have this weird sort of magnetic timeline, I think they call it, which makes things potentially really confusing, but when you get used to it, it works really well. So I have this like ridiculously enormous editing session, like everything up here above this long orange thing here is the video. There's still lots of like alternate shots and little things in there. And everything down below, this is all like B-roll stuff, you know, that I was like picking from, and lots of like performance footage that had to be synced up. You know, so syncing up like loads and loads of footage. Like each of these is like their own. This is like, there's even like, you know, performances I didn't use. I did all this like kind of green screen stuff with a green screen attached to my guitar neck, but that didn't really turn out to be that cool. So just loads and loads of footage was one thing. Ingesting all that and getting it ready was kind of a big deal. Let me show you some of the like the cool color work I learned to do, because like I'm happy with it. So this was like actually a pretty difficult shot, and if I turn off all the effects on this, you'll see what it was originally. Let's turn them off sequentially, and you can see what we did. So besides a lot of these shots, you know, I created the motion by doing like manual zoom and pan and stuff, and that's a cool thing you can do when you shoot like high resolution 4K footage, but it's a lot of work in post. So this is the original footage. What I'm doing here, this is just kind of like a general correction to get out of the flatness, and this is creating masks to separate the interior from the exterior, and sort of making the interior similar to the other interior shots and making the exterior like much darker, like it's nighttime kind of thing. So you can see these masks. So that's really a primary technique for this kind of like, this is not like advanced color grading and color correction. If you get into like the advanced tools, these are just the things that come with Final Cut Pro. But the advanced ones are like track objects and do all this like super crazy stuff that I didn't get into. This is kind of cool. So this one just like creates the effect of this light being kind of more interesting and creating some warmth in the room. And this one creates a shadow to kind of intensify the effect of that light. And this one, oh, and this is just to add a shadow to kind of balance the left and the right sides of the shot. So I don't know, when I figured out how to do all that, I was so psyched. It took a long time, and also to get good at it, because like I didn't really have an eye for this stuff. Like I'm not a photo editor, I'm not a video editor, I'm not a colorist. You know, there's a dedicated job for people that do this kind of thing. So I had to kind of get hip for the first time to like, you know, is that too yellow or too green, and should the shadows be more blue? And I did a lot of looking at references, the same thing I do like when I mix or whatever. You know, I just grabbed a bunch of screenshots from those kind of films I was talking about earlier, and I just have these open like when I was doing my color grading. Also threw the Joker in here. Just a super dark film. I thought it had some of the vibe. I think that's Samsara, everybody's favorite Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is cool because you had like, oh, here's Boromir in, what do you call it, Rivendell, and here's Boromir in Moria, and here's Boromir in Lothlorien, and you get like the same face, but like these really contrasting looks. So anyways, those were a lot of the inspiration for, you know, what actual colors I picked. I'm looking at the chat here. Let's see here. My music editing skills are showing in my Final Cut Pro timeline. Thanks, you know, that's kind of you. I really think video editing is like, you know, compared to audio editing is like playing checkers, and video editing is like playing four-dimensional chess, whatever four-dimensional chess is. Somebody gave a talk. Who was that? I think I missed that earlier in the chat. Jealous. I'm getting in there. Oh no, I'm not going to After Effects. That I'm outsourcing. Not a real editor version. It's so much more advanced than so many people think. Probably just because I spent loads of time on it. You know, it's one of the benefits of being an independent artist is you can pour ridiculous amounts of time into whatever you want sometimes. Never go full Boromir. Oh, I didn't. My face is not glowing. All right, so let's zoom along. Yeah, I got super detailed. I'll show you like a couple little tidbits. I just got, it's when you learn a new tool, you get excited. So like this one, I got excited about, which of these is it? It's, well, LUTs were a thing, but this one actually targets, I think this one targets the blue in this notebook here at the bottom. I was just like, oh, that blue kind of kills the vibe. All these shots are like, yellow and red and orange, and I just want to take that blue notebook out of there. So I figured out how to do that. Take the blue notebook rings out. So zooming along, this is a good example of like on the advice. I also like showed this to a lot of people. Got a lot of feedback early on. So this is a shot where like this push was created, manually just to add some more motion. So it was this push to connect it to the last shot. There's the aerialist superimposed. That took a lot of work to do that. Maybe that was the motivation for not doing more special effects. I also got into noise reduction. Like when you take dark shots and you bring up the darks a lot, like you can see all this noise buried down there. So that's one of the few things I added to my toolkit was a great noise reduction plugin that I could show you. It's called, what is it called? Let me just go back to that shot. Yeah, this was a mask shot, going way overboard. Reduce Noise version 5. I think it's from a company called Neat Video that makes this awesome noise reduction plugin. So what else can I show you? Let me just jump ahead to some different kinds of shots. I can show you real quick what I did with these kinds of shots. Similar things. So this has the reduced noise I was talking about, because those black areas get a lot of color noise in them. So this one, yeah, there's your shot flat look. Also got a lot of different colors going on there, so that's to like brighten it up and actually desaturate it. I want to desaturate these things. And, what's going on with this one? Oh yeah, this one I wanted to like add a little highlight on the ring, the one ring. So you can see when I toggle it, there's a little extra brightness on the ring. And I learned how to actually like track masks manually. So like there's these zones that kind of move around when I move around. That's the time-consuming thing that you could never afford to pay somebody for. I'm getting a reminder. I gotta run soon. So let's darken this up. Yeah, let's add a little vignette to draw your attention to the center of the frame. Let me make that light a little less bright. Let me take that green thing out. You might notice this little area over here. I was like, yeah, just like that blue notebook. Like I really don't want green in my beautiful melancholy bluish red dark shot. So yeah, there's another breakdown of the color stuff. You can see a little bit about my kind of editing style, where there's a lot of like alternate shots, things that are hidden by other shots. Did a lot of speed editing, to get sequences like this, where you have this speeding up. It's not just cutting faster and faster, but the video is actually running faster and faster, skipping frames. That's I think that's very Mad Max Fury Road inspired. They did a lot of like speed ramping in that film. How did I do the candle dancer? That was just a Luma key thing. You could do that. That's easy. Shooting flat leads to Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro leads to LUTs. LUTs leads to After Effects. After Effects leads to the dark side. That's hilarious. Because it's true. So yeah, maybe I'm definitely not going to do a video this complicated in the near future of this kind. I'm definitely going to do complicated videos in the future because I love it. So what else can I show y'all? I mean, I did that little breakdown. Honestly, those things happen with like every single shot. Like this footage of Carl's stuff and Anastasia was actually some of the most poorly shot stuff, and it's because I shot it, and I shot it with a not super great camera. So this footage had to be like very carefully doctored, and this was what inspired me to get the the noise reduction plugin, because when you take something that was shot poorly and you bring the dark parts up, as I was saying, like you see all the noise. So yeah, I don't know. Any other interesting anecdotes I can share? I don't know. We're just gonna fly through the video here with a little scrubbing. Oh yeah, continuity was a thing I learned about. Like I really want to do a lot of continuity, like connecting one action to the next, and I just wound up with all these huge gaps, and also realizing like you don't really need that. You don't need to see me like bend over and pick up the pencil and like pull the cap off the marker before I start writing with the marker. But sometimes that really helps. So this is an example of like, this is me in San Francisco, like getting up and walking away from my desk, and here's me in Las Vegas suddenly in the garage. But I think because I matched the way that I'm walking there, it's like, and right foot drops, right foot drops. Like you get this continuity between the shots. And I also got super geeky, and if you watch this shot, like the color here is like the color in the previous shots, and it morphs gradually to here, where it's all like at the end of the shot, it's all like washed out and desaturated inside versus the beginning of the shot here. And I do that a couple times, like I kind of fade the color to smooth the transition and create more continuity. Yeah, so the workshop stuff, the driving stuff, the road closed. I had to use that shot because like I didn't actually get the shot of the Jeep driving off, into the desert, which was a bummer. This is cool. These desert shots were all beautiful, and I wanted to make them beautiful, but it didn't match this like angry part of the chorus, and so I wound up making them beautiful for the bridge, if you recall. So all these kind of like beautiful sunset kind of things. They were beautiful shots, but I was like, let's make it super beautiful. So like here's the raw shot, and it's like, yeah, that's not quite sunset. It's well shot, but this is like cranking up the saturation and adding those oranges to make it more sunset-like. And this is a separate layer on the sky with extra saturation and adding those like pinks and oranges to make it feel like sunset, because it wasn't quite sunset at that point, and it definitely wasn't as rich as you see in these kind of shots. And that silhouette, similarly done with lots of color grading. And yeah, I don't know. I'm almost out of time. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm gonna stop yammering about this. I'll go back and answer a few questions, and then I'm gonna jump off. But I'd love to, yeah, tell you anything I can about this crazy adventure into video production. Show the area list one more time. The area list is awesome. Gotta go back and watch the video. Thank you. Appreciate that. Congratulations. Why not shoot full range and compress in software? Well, it's really just that like you never know where your light's gonna go. If you're shooting something like fire and suddenly the fire gets really bright, then those brightest parts are gonna get cut off if you didn't, anticipate that. So shooting flat kind of protects you from that. It's like it's limiting your brightness in one scope to this is what you normally shoot for, so that when the super bright fire goes like that, like you still you're capturing that information. And when the super dark, shadow is cast by a character entering the scene, you have extra space to capture those extreme brightnesses and colors. So that's why shooting flat is great. What was the most fun part? Oh, thanks. That's a good question. What was the most fun part? I think performing in the rain was actually fun. Like it was kind of weird at first, just like trying to go like all out, like exaggerate all my moves as much as possible, and like there's this artificial rain coming down, and it's like midnight. But it was actually really, really fun. I think there's something kind of liberating about performing in that kind of way. Like I'm lip syncing throughout the video and guitar lip syncing, but just like kind of having a little freedom where it's like, oh, I don't need to play really accurately, and I can just go crazy. That was super fun. And also I learned to play the song at double speed, so that we could shoot at high frame rate while I'm playing the song twice as fast as normal. And then you slow it down, and like I'm in slow motion, but I'm actually playing the song at the speed at which it normally should be, if that makes sense. You might have to think about that for a while. But basically, it's a cool thing. So I was playing the song twice as fast as normal in the rain while thrashing around, and I think that was the most fun thing. Yeah. Okay, any other final questions? I don't think I can take any more questions, but thank you for sticking around so long. Yeah, please, I don't know, if you enjoyed this, share the video with your friends, of course. I'd always appreciate that. Most of you are already like Patreon supporters. So I see all my like hardcore fans in here, and that is wonderful. But yeah, if you want to share my Patreon site, it's just patreon.com/Moldover, and of course moldover.com is my website. And yeah, air guitar, that's lip syncing guitar? I think you're correct about that. yeah, I think it's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in and making my birthday that much happier. It's been a pleasure sharing this time with you. And yeah, make art. Be awesome. You gotta drop your one-liner when you actually have your finger on the end stream button. Peace.